And this here is the book signing poster for The Woman That Lived Twice. This is Loreatta Williams Handy, now Jackson. She's married to a Jackson. This is the first recording artist on the Jodas label, and her life on the road with the great Otis Redding. She sung with Otis Redding, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're going to show you the book. Jazzy Red. We love it. Jazzy Red Talk Show, and this is the book, The Woman That Lived, The Woman Who Lived Twice. This is a great book. I read it all the way through, but now we finna talk with the author. Y'all know how Jazzy Red do it. Put it on down, good. Put it down. Put it down. We finna talk with the author. We talking with the author right now. Now, what's your name now, ma'am?
Well, now I'm Pastor Elder Loreatta Handy Jackson.
Okay, all right. Tell my viewers a little something about this book. And I'm going to want you to speak up. I know you got a soft voice, but see, they hear me because I'm right by the camera. So well, you got this book published. Tell my viewers about this
As
book.
the book says on the front of the book, it's the tell-all story of Loreatta Williams, which was my stage name when I was singing with Otis Redding back in the days. It's a tell-all story book of Loreatta Williams and her days on the road with the late, great Otis Redding. And it says that I lived on the devil's side and did pretty good. But now I'm on God's side and I'm doing even better.
Okay.
And that's my life story right there.
That's your life story.
Amen.
Put the book down and tell them about that book. Tell them about that book. Tell them what they can look for in it.
I've had two lives.
Okay.
One I lived for the devil, as the book said, and one for the Lord. But this book goes way back beyond Otis Redding. It begins when I was born in the old Mobile General Hospital here in Mobile, Alabama. It tells about my mother, my father, and the days of old, how they used to work in the houses of the white people, and the things that my father went through and my mother went through with raising me. And I lost my father at an early age. It tells all about the type of person he was and what he was, and how my mother had to go through a lot of things, losing her husband with a young child and one on the way. And it also tells about our life when we were back in the segregation times. And it tells about my life with a stepfather that I had to learn to get along with, and I didn't want to learn to get along with. And the abuse that I went through at the hands of my stepfather, and all the other things that we went through. I'm trying to get through school and no one to help, and just a lot of things that went on back in the 50s and the 60s that people you can relate to, because I'm sure they went through a lot of things also. Okay. And how I was in the church. I started at a young age in the church, singing in the choirs. From 3 years old up, I was singing in somebody's choir. And how they found me and discovered me for singing rock and roll. I was on the radio, singing with a gospel group called the Lewis Gospel Singers. And from there, everybody remembers Dr. Jive. Leon Lowe picked me up. He heard me and he asked me to come and sing with his band. I think it was the Croquettes at that time. Okay. And I went from that band to the Ebony, the Knights of Ebony, and started working for Mr. Tom Couch. Everybody in the United States knew about Tom Couch and the club that he had on 45. It was well known, and everybody would come to his club. Sure would. He would bring a lot, like Ike and Tina Turner. Everybody came, yes. And that's how I got a chance to meet a lot of the stars, because I was always on program there, opening up for the known artists. I would open the shows. So after Leon Lowe gave me a job, and I started working for him and several other guys here in Mobile and several clubs here, they heard me on the radio. And this particular week, Otis Redding was coming to town. Yeah. And Tom Couch and had the Club Harlem. That's what I'm trying to remember. Club Harlem. Sure was. Club Harlem. Everybody was coming to Club Harlem. There was Joe Tex, Johnny Taylor, Little Richard, Patti LaBelle stayed there all the time. Ike and Tina Turner stayed there all the time. They were always here in Mobile because they would draw a crowd here in Mobile. They would pack the house. Okay. So there was Bobby Blue Bland and all the great artists that was there, and that's how I got a chance to meet so many of them. right here at the Club Harlem. And Otis Redding was coming to town that particular weekend. I was going to open the show. And Otis came in and he met me, and he really didn't really know who I was until after I had sung. And while I was singing on stage, opening the show up that night, he came out to the stage and he looked, and he kind of just stayed there and looked, and he said, "I want that girl." So after the show was over, he asked me to come to his dressing room. And Tom took me back there, and I met him, and he said, "I loved your show." He said, "Girl, you were awesome. You were hot." He said, "You rocked the house." Me and the guys were just tickle pink just to hear you.
Yeah.
And he said, "If I offered you a job tonight, would you go?" I said, "Sure would." He said, "Tonight?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go tonight." He said, "When can you leave?" I was just kidding. He said, "When can you leave? I'm going to get me a little rest while I'm here. I'm going to enjoy the coast a little bit while I'm here for about a week." So "You'll be ready in a few days if I take you with me?" I said, "I sure will." And so he said, "Let me talk to Tom." He said, "Tom will let me go with you." Tom was kind of managing me at the time.
Yeah.
He said, "If Tom let you go with me, will you go?" I said, "Yeah." So he talked to Tom, and Tom told him if he promised to do me a record deal,
Yeah.
then he would let me go.
He'd let you go.
And he signed my contract over to him. And that's what happened. And Otis Redding, he just flipped out and said, "This is the girl. We need her for the show." And I was with him from that time on for about 4 to 5 years. I traveled with him and was with all the greats. Ray Charles, the Temptations, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Joe Tex, Johnny Taylor, Sam Cooke. Everybody was on with Otis because we had the 28-piece dancing orchestra.
Okay.
See, all this is in the book. A lot of people don't know all the inside
Mm-hmm.
stories of what went on behind the scenes
Okay.
of all these great stars in the rock and roll, how big it was, and what happened behind closed doors. And
That's
I
right.
know the story because I lived with them 5 or 6 years. I was on the road with them. I made good money. Of course, back there in the 60s, $800-900 a week was a lot of money, especially
Okay.
to us blacks.
Mm-hmm.
And we all worked on salaries. That's why you hear Little Richard saying, "I never made any money until now."
Okay.
I wasn't making money back then. He wasn't. We all were on salary. Jane Brown, everybody. We worked for Phil Walden's Enterprises. Everybody knows Phil Walden out of Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
And he had all of us signed under contracts where we got paid weekly, a salary. Not the money that we made,
Okay.
just the salary. But it was good money. And I was able to take care of my kids and be able to send money home for them and from my apartment and all. And of course, being on the road, of course, I always had somebody I was in love with.
Okay.
I had somebody I was in love with and didn't know when I really wanted to go, but I know I needed that money.
Yes.
So I went on the road with this show. And Otis immediately started talking to me about doing a record deal.
Okay.
And I thought that was going to be awesome for me to really sing with the great Otis Redding Band, which was a 28-piece dancing orchestra. And you can imagine what it was like to be on the road with 28 men, just one woman.
Okay.
But Otis always made provisions for me because we had the brand new bus. Otis had 2 buses he bought during the time I was with him, and it was brand new buses, and we traveled very well. And back in those days, though, blacks weren't allowed to be in the hotels that you can go in. There was only a few hotels we could go in. There are a few places we could go and eat at. So Otis decided he would get us a nice bus to travel in. And traveling on the road with 28 men, that was a job. That was something to behold. And I tell all the details about it in this book.
In the book. I
Amen.
read it.
And I
It's
had
there.
been married before, but I was single at this time. And I was in love with my second husband at that time, Frank Patterson. And I hadn't married him yet. But I left and went on the road because I wanted that exposure.
That's right.
And I needed that exposure. I got a chance to sing at the Apollo, the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C., of course, the Apollo in New York, the Houston Coliseums, every big place that Otis went, he made sure that I was on the show. And I got a chance to meet all the stars, the Four Tops, the Temptations, the Shy-Lights, the Spinners. I was there. That's why I look on TV now and say, now all these people that are still on TV and they're still being praised and recognized, and nobody knows I was right out there with them.
That, yes. Well, they going to know this time. They going to know now.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because see, this book is a movie. They made movies on every great artist except the Otis Redding. And I have the story. That's why I'm trying to get it to the people to know that I'm alive. It has even been said that I died in a plane crash.
And you wasn't in there.
I wasn't even in the plane crash. I had left the show about a month before Otis died because we got into it about the money over the record. And that's usually the problem. When you get big and you start getting big, they want to control all your money.
Okay.
They don't want to give you your money. So I got upset and not using my head. I got fly by, and I'm kind of flippy.
Okay.
I should have stayed and worked it out. I might would have gotten some of my money. But I left the show, and he got killed about a month after I left the show.
And I was saying he was such a young man.
He was so young. He had just made 26 million. Him
I
about
said,
the
now
same
what
age.
did he do for something like that to happen? I was wondering, how did he treat people?
He was wild. He was enthusiastic. He was a great artist, one of the greatest artists that I ever saw out there. He had a voice like nobody else, and his show was awesome.
Okay.
His show was so exciting. When he put on the show, you think you went to church in the club.
Yeah.
We'd have church in the club.
With them teardrop shoes.
Yeah, because he really came from the church. Otis was singing in church before he started singing, and I was too. So we kind of related with each other about that church thing.
Okay.
And we both put on the soul rocking show. Okay. That's why he could relate to me and I could relate to him, because we both have been in some exciting churches. And we had that soul in us, that drive to really make people move and shout and want to dance and everything else. So Otis was a type of person that he just wanted to do things quick in life. He was just too fast. He was living his life too fast. The drugs, the marijuana, the women. And the women were just coming from everywhere. And you know, a man in his stature came from a poor background, and down in the South, where he said he felt like he had been abused by the white man, and so many people had been against him and his father when he was in Georgia. He had a little animosity in him. Okay. So he wanted to put himself out there to let them know, see me now.
Okay.
See what I am now. He said I wasn't going to do it, but I did it. And he made a lot of people out of a liar. That he wasn't going to make nothing out of himself, but he did. But he did. He had his own ranch. All the animals you could see, and he'd take us to the ranch there in Georgia, and he had his own bus, everything. And people don't know that Otis Redding was the first black to own his own label, Jody. So I made history. I made history with Otis because I was the first success. I made the top 10 charts with the record Missing You and Baby Cakes. I was the first on his label, the first artist to put his label out there. Me and Arthur Conley, he was doing Arthur Conley and me, and maybe one other person, but we was the only ones that got a chance to get on his label. And he was the first black to own his own label. Own his own label. Yeah, and wasn't any blacks at that time owning their own labels. Otis Redding was the first, and it was called Jodis. I think it was him and Joe Galkin, where he got that name from. Yeah. Somewhere out of Stack Records and all. And it was just an exciting life, but Otis had his little ways. He was very tough. Very tough. Okay. And when he said he wanted to do something, he wanted to, like, we'd be traveling a lot, and I'd be got settled in for the night in the hotel, thinking everything of it. All right, everybody get up. We got to go. We got to go. We haven't had but 2 hours sleep, and we got to go. Everybody get your clothes on. I'd leave bras, underwear, everything else in the hotel. I don't wash and everything. You got to get up and go. Got to go. Got to go when he say go. And he was just, and he could get mean and tough because he had that fight in him. Okay. Otis was kind of tough when he was down in Georgia with fighting and shooting and all this kind of stuff. But sometimes he would make us upset the way he would treat us about the money. Okay. He would not ever want us to get all of our money. He'd make us take a draw. Nobody want to take a draw. We want our money so we can send it home. You know. That's right. That's no, right. You're not going to get all your money. You're going to get half, and we're going to get the other half. And I don't want half. I want all my money. That's right. But he had that thing going. I guess he loved that money so much he didn't want to see that big payroll going out so fast. Okay. So he wanted us to take a draw in the middle of the week, and he'd pay us some on the weekend, and we all fell out about that. Him and the guys were fighting about that, and he would jump on the guys, and I saw him jump on a guy one night that was drunk, and it just hurt me to my heart. I didn't like him doing that, but that was his way of doing things. Okay. And a lot of the guys didn't like him, but he was good in his own way, and I always respect him because he gave me opportunity. He gave me a chance, and I'm not trying to put him down. I wouldn't try and put him down. I understand. He's a guy that you just had to understand him. And to work with him, you had to really know him. But he believed in perfection. He believed in getting something, and he wanted to be the biggest thing out there, and he could have done that. With a few more years to his life, he would have been one of the greatest.
Right.
He would have been just as great as Michael Jackson.
Michael had been out there like Mike.
He'd have been out there like Mike, because there was no other voice, no other sound like his band, no other sound like him. And I want to give vent to the Otis Redding band.
Okay.
28 people that could read music, sheet music.
Sheet music.
I mean, these guys with Otis were the best in the country. And he would pick up the best when we go to different cities, and he'd hear about this guy, but you got to read music. That's why we got a chance to play and sing behind everybody, because Otis Redding band could read music.
Could read
sheet
music.
Yeah. And we go to those theaters, they lay your sheets out there for them to play.
Okay.
And wasn't nothing that Otis Redding band couldn't play.
Couldn't play.
He was even playing Barry Gordy's music.
They could read the sheet music.
They could read the sheet music. So when we worked with the Temps and the Tops, Four Tops, and Martha and Vandellas and the Jelly Beans, and I think it was someone else that would usually be on the shows with us from Motown, Otis Redding band could play it.
Yeah.
I mean, Stomp Down, Kick It.
Okay.
And was a 28-piece dancing orchestra. That's what made them so exciting, because they put on a show.
They put on a show.
They put on a show. You get your money's worth when you go to Otis Redding's show.
Yeah.
But the thing that bugged me so much about being out there, they had so much to offer you that could ruin your life.
Okay.
It could even get you killed.
Okay.
And we had a bad habit of being known as robbers and thieves out there. Because we go from hotel to hotel, they'd be taking the folks' blankets and pillows and sheets and everything from the hotels, and the police and the sheriff running behind the bus trying to get the hotel stuff back.
Yeah.
Oh, it was an exciting life, but they didn't make it right, but it was fun.
Okay. Being young, yeah,
we were all young. And that's another thing. We look at the artists now, you look at our age, but everybody out there started young. We were almost like just getting out our teens and early 20s, you know. Everybody was very young.
Okay.
And if you look at the Motown list, they were too. Diana Ross, all of them were very young. We all started young. And we had Aretha traveling with us, Aretha Franklin.
No, you didn't.
And we had Ike and Tina with us all the time.
Okay.
And all the stories that...
Hey, he ain't whooping in front of y'all.
Right in front of us.
Oh, my gracious.
We saw it so many times in the Rice Theater.
Ike.
Rice Hotel in Texas. We'll never forget. That was a big fight. I think that might have been the fight scene they have in her movie that him and her had. And Aretha, she was having problems with her husband. And we saw this. It's not a lie. It's the truth.
It's the truth.
And I'm sure when Aretha's movie comes out, you're going to see a lot of things that went on back there that really did happen, because I was right there to see it.
Okay.
And, you know, I want people to know that my life was one to be told about.
Okay.
This book needs to be a movie.
We know it do. I've read it.
It's a movie, and
I've read
everybody
it.
ever
It's
saw
good.
this book say, this is a movie.
It's good.
It's a great movie, and it's exciting. It'll hold you spellbound to your seat at least 2 or 3 hours.
It will.
It
I
could
read
go
it.
4 hours and nobody would leave the movie. I promise you. And I tell in this book all the lives of my story of my life with my first husband, my second husband,
Okay.
and my third husband.
Okay.
Well, Jay hadn't got a chance to get in there yet because he's my fourth husband.
Okay.
But he's in my second book, though.
Okay.
But I tell my life with each one, my story with each one of these men and what I went through with them. And why my life had to change to come over on God's side. I went through a lot of things. People just don't know until they read this book what I went through. I went through almost dying 3 or 4 or 5 times in my life.
Okay.
And God saved me. That's why I'm saved today.
Okay.
That's why I'm working for God today, because he deserves the glory and the praise for what I went through and how I lived through those things that I went through. The devil been trying to kill me for a long time. I went through a lot of tragedies in my life. I went through a lot of suffering and pain in my life. And people just don't know. They see me up jumping and shouting and preaching and singing like I do.
Yes.
I got a right to do it.
That's right.
And I got a reason to do it. And this book can show you how your life can be turned around. Because the way I was going, I could have ended up dead.
I read where you said a man had snatched your purse, took your purse and left.
Otis talked about me so bad that night. 2 times he cursed me for everything he could curse me for. And talked about me so bad till I wanted to just fall out and die. He made me feel so bad. But I was in Miami, and this was during the Ray Charles show.
Okay.
We had done the Ray Charles show, and then we had some one-nighters after the Ray Charles show in Miami, Florida. And I think we were in Fort Lauderdale or somewhere over there in that area at a big club there. And I had done my show, and I was hot, and I wanted to walk outside, and so Otis gave me the key, said, go sit out in the car if you want to go out there, but be careful. I goes out in the car and sit in his Cadillac. I'm sitting in the Cadillac. Here comes this nice, attractive young man. Oh, they always bother me all the time, but I didn't have any idea that this was a thief and a robber.
Okay.
I was just trying to be nice, you know. And he was trying to tell me how he enjoyed the show and how good I sang and my performance and all. And he was leaning in the window. And I'm sitting in the car with my purse and my windbreaker right next to me. Had no idea the man was getting ready to rob me. And he was just talking, I guess he got my attention. And next thing I know, he snatched my purse and was gone before I could even look up good. This guy had, I guess, reached through the window, talking to me while he had my attention and got my purse and was gone in an instant. And all I could see was him running through the alley. So I breaks in the club and tell Otis somebody done robbed and stole my purse and everything I had in it. Everything I had really that was worth anything was in that purse. It was a big bag.
ID and everything.
Everything that I needed to be on the road with.
Yeah.
Plus my kids, my the pictures of my children, my wallet, all my money that I needed for the rest of the week.
I'm hoping some young girl is listening to you right now.
There you go.
With those Hollywood dreams
There
and
you
thinking
go.
you got to have the full armor guard on you out there.
I'm telling you, and
it's
you got
bad.
to.
They say it's
you
wrong.
got to know what you're doing when you go on this road. You see the American Idol and The Voice. It's more to it than what you see.
Okay.
The lights and the glam, the big lights and the glam and all
Yes.
of it. What you go on and what you go through with behind the scene is what they got to learn about.
Okay.
If I hadn't had one good friend with me that I took to on that road to protect me on that road, I'd have been vulnerable to everybody and everything.
Everybody and everything.
But God fixed the way. I had one guy on the show that looked after me. And then I never forget, Sam and Dave was just like my little brothers.
Okay.
Sam and Dave,
Yeah.
Sam and Dave
Oh
show.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Sam and Dave, we lived together. Solomon Burke, all of us lived. But Sam and Dave were like my brothers.
Okay.
They would look after me. And we even rent, when we book a hotel, we book our rooms together so they could be there to protect me at all times.
Okay.
And then this guy was called Mac Rhodes. He was Otis road manager or band manager. And he took to me and he started really trying to see to me being in the right places, doing the right thing. But this particular night, I didn't tell him where I was going. I just went on out the building. And when I did get back in there, Otis talked about me like a dog. He said, I told you, you are not in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
You cannot walk out here and be alone out here and meeting and talking to everybody. That's why we keep you in the back behind stage so we can watch you. You can't do that. These people will rob you or kill you. He said, you don't know how close you could have got killed out there. And then you got the booger in my car. The guy could have killed you and took my car.
Sure could.
You had my keys.
That's right. That's right.
He was highly upset with me.
Yeah, he had to groom you. They had to groom you.
They
being
tried,
young.
they tried, but I still was silly.
But then we want to get on this right quick before we
Okay.
do end this interview. The money.
The money. That was the problem. That's why I left the show, because
Right now they're playing your song.
everywhere. Over in England,
Are you getting any money off of that?
no royalties at all.
No royalties. We want somebody to see this because we put it on
Yes.
YouTube, and I want somebody to come forward and to help you because I've met a lot of people on Facebook that are out of town,
Yes.
and I want them to see and hear what you're saying,
Yes.
that you're not getting any royalty off of Baby Cake. What's the other song?
Missing you.
Missing You. I mean, you're supposed to get paid. BMI supposed to been looking out for that, but
Yeah.
you're supposed to get paid for everything. There was a lot went on in that book that people, look, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you got to get this book, you have got to get it, because I didn't let it go. I read it all in one sitting. I just stayed there and read it. It let me know how they'll do you out there. I'm funny about a lot of stuff anyway, but you're not getting any royalties off of your hit songs.
Well, since I left the rock field,
Okay.
rock and roll, and I've gotten saved. When I got saved, I just never looked back. I probably could
I
have got it if I
understand.
had have thought about it earlier.
Yeah.
When I first left the show, I
Yeah.
really should have had somebody looking into this for me. But I thought one way or the other, sooner or later, I was going to be able to get an attorney or somebody to see to me getting that, but I was so involved in the church.
Okay.
I just kind of put it on the back burner.
Okay.
But when I heard that Frankie Lyman had gotten 40 years back pay for Why Do Fools Fall in Love and all the songs that he did, they never paid him either. And so many, like Little Richard, he never got paid up until these last years of his life.
Yeah.
All the hit records that Little Richard had out, but my record was under Otis, because at that time we were young and silly. We didn't know anything about contracts.
Okay, I understand.
See, these guys now that's putting records in, these rappers, they know the contract business.
Okay.
We didn't know it.
Okay.
And I just signed whatever Otis said sign.
Oh.
I didn't know I was signing a lot of my rights away, and he has the rights to my records and rights to my songs. Now, in this time, in this day and hour, when I really could be getting something from it, I don't have any rights. They stole my rights.
Okay.
And then his wife completely just wiped me off the map and told people that I was dead.
Okay.
And here I am, well and alive.
On
and yet
Jazzy Red
singing.
Show.
Yeah. And I'm yet singing.
And yet singing.
And I can sing just about as good as anybody out there singing.
And got a book published. Because I was at your book signing at Barnes and Noble.
And I'm still alive. And
Yes.
people don't know, and they are asking on the internet, where is this lady that made that one-time hit with Otis Redding? What happened? She was from Mobile, Alabama. I'm yet alive. And I have this book that the world is waiting to read and see, called The Woman Who Lived Twice. The story of my life with Otis Redding is in it. It's not his book. This is my life story. But he was a part of my life.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so much that I learned behind the scenes, it's in this book. Now, what I need is for someone to call me, seek me out for my records.
That's
I'm
right.
yet making records. I cut my first gospel album at the Muscle Shoals Sound, the biggest studio in the South, where Otis used to cut records, and also Aretha recorded right there at Muscle Shoals Sound. That's where my record was done.
Okay.
I have 3 gospel albums, but I need for someone to interview me nationally.
That's
I need
right.
a national
That's
TV
right.
interview
Yeah, you
to
do.
let these people, I got so much to tell. I've got so much to show them. And I have pictures in this book of all the artists, as Martha and the Vandellas.
Well, let's zoom into them. Let's zoom into them. This is Martha and the Vandellas, ladies and gentlemen. You went down so fast.
Uh-oh, did I
You took
go
it
too
down
fast?
so fast. Let's just show them. Let's look at them, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Martha and the Vandellas. Give me another.
And we have,
She has so many pictures in here.
this is Carla Thomas and Sam and Dave. I was on shows
Okay,
with.
let's see where Carla. That's you there in that dress, ain't it?
Everybody think it is, but it's Carla
Oh,
Thomas.
it's Carla Thomas. Okay. And here we got, she's so fast, ladies
Am
and
I too
gentlemen.
fast?
Who is that on that other page?
This
Come
is
on.
New Collier. He's one of the Otis Redding's trumpet players, his head trumpet player. And this
Okay.
is the band.
Okay, give me one with Otis Redding. Do you have one with Otis Redding in there?
Otis
we're
is
gonna
in here.
we're gonna get ready. We gotta give you a phone number. Give me your phone number while you're looking.
Okay, this is Otis in the studio.
Okay, let's zoom in Otis. There he is in the studio. The fat man. Give them your phone number. We want somebody to help you, and we got it on that Jazz Red show first, but we
Sam
gonna put
and
it.
Cook. Sam Cook and Inez.
Okay,
Charlie
let's do
Fox.
Sam Cooke, because I got his book. I read his book. Oh, man, that is...
I was on the
Look
show
at
with
that.
all of these people.
Lord have mercy, handsome.
He's
Lord,
very
Sam Cooke got stabbed, Lord.
Lost his life for nothing.
Sure did. Give him a phone number. Let's go with that phone number.
You can reach me at 251-391-2147. 391-2147.
I want somebody that's looking at this to help her.
251-533-7847.
All right, these numbers are running across the screen. We're going to want you all to get with Miss Loreatta Handy Jackson, because I want you all to. I mean, it's a movie. I read the book and
It's
it's
a
good.
movie.
It's
It's a
good,
movie.
but we got some tape you got to cut, and we got to see some things. So somebody in Hollywood, Tyler Perry and all of them know about me, and we're gonna put it on YouTube, and hopefully all the rest of them.
And I want to tell Tyler, the book is free. It's free now, away from any detachments.
Okay.
They wrote me before about my book,
Okay.
but it was some detachments concerning my records. But now I want him to know that all the rights are set free now. He can call me back about
All
this
right.
book.
All right, Tyler, I'm a Facebook you too. When you send another one out, I'm a
Amen.
Facebook you. You need to get in touch with her, and we can do that movie that you wanted to do, a play or whatever.
Yes.
The
It's
book
available
is free.
now.
It's available. The
With
book
no
is free.
attachments.
That's right. I know how it is. But I've enjoyed this interview with you. I was at your book signing, and I enjoyed that. You had
yes.
your CDs.
Don't forget the CDs.
Yeah. Let me get them. Right quick. We got to show the CDs. We got to show the CDs.
Right now, we're using them as a fundraiser.
Hold it around to the camera.
This is
the camera need to see it. I know you're looking at it. Just hold it right there. Okay.
The World We Share.
Okay. What's the next one? The World We Share. How much are these CDs?
And right now we're doing a promotion for the church of just $10.
Okay. What's the next one? $10.
And this one is the Second Chance album, on my first album.
Okay.
And it has a variation of all my songs on it.
Okay.
But this is my latest songs here, and it is so awesome. It's a worldwide song.
Okay.
It's an international song that everybody needs to hear this.
Okay.
And
all right, so you got two. Get that phone number out again.
Phone number is 251-391-2147 or 251-533-7847. And they know how to get in touch with me. It's Second Chance Full Gospel Church, 155 9th Avenue. Write me.
Mobile, Alabama.
36611.
All right. That's right. We got to get it all out.
We got to get it out there.
You get her phone number.
I need that interview, y'all.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
I'm alive. I can tell you everything you need to know about Otis Redding.
That's right. She got it. I'm telling you, I read the book. All right. This will conclude our interview. I have enjoyed it. You've held this audience because you've held me. Tell them God bless them, the woman of God.
God bless you. We love you and we appreciate you. Come visit me. Let me talk to you in person.
That's
Amen.
right. Second Chance. Sure.
Second Chance.
Jazzy Red, we love you. We got some important dignitaries. This is Magic Johnson, and this is Robert Battle. All y'all know Robert Battle. He went and seen Magic Johnson. When we come back, we're going to show you another picture of Jazzy Red. Jazzy Red Talk Show. Hold on. Jazzy Red Talk Show. And we're outside. That's why I say hold up a minute. This is Dr. James Gordon, Robert Battles, and Henry Haseed. They were there to see Magic Johnson. Y'all know Robert Battles. Everybody know him. Jazzy Red, we love you. Peace out. Red Talk Show. Now I done showed you that this man be everywhere. Mr. Battles be everywhere. All of you all know him. Robert E. Battles, running for School Board District 4. Now he's been out and beating the pavement and helping, and he's helped a lot of people, even helped Jazzy Red. Y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all about that when I interview him. Now, Robert Battles is running for School Board District 4. I'm gonna want you all to get out and vote for him now. Y'all know Jazz ain't gonna get behind nobody if they ain't right. But Robert Battles been doing this a long time, been beating the pavement. I'm gonna want you to get out and you're gonna vote for him for District 4. Jazzy Red, we love you. Peace out. Red Talk Show, we're up here at H&H Financial Services. H&H Financial Services. Y'all know the owner of this business, Mr. Haseed. You all know that he came to my house to bring some money. Anytime, for someone, anytime I call him, he come out and help. He helps in the community. H&H Financial Services. He do income tax. And in a minute, we're going to interview him. Jazzy Red, peace out. Red Talk Show. He is the CEO. How you doing this today?
I'm doing great, Jazzy. Good to see you again. It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, we all be very, very busy. And you got a show too, right?
Yes, we do. We have a show called Rise and Shine that comes on Sunday morning on Fox 10 there. So besides Jazzy Red, tune in to Rise and Shine.
That's right, Rise and Shine. And what time it come on?
It comes on 6:30 Sunday morning.
6:30 Sunday morning. Okay. Tell my viewers what you got going on. What you running
Well,
for?
Jazzy, this year we decided to run for the State House legislature, House of Representatives in the state of Alabama.
Okay.
We are running for District 99.
Okay.
And District 99 covers the Tomerville area, the Crichton area, Hillsdale Heights, Carlisle area. So it's a big, wide area that it covers. And we'd like to inform your supporters that we would love to get their support because we got a lot of things that need to be done in District 99.
Yes, you do. And I'm going to tell you something. Y'all know that my viewers remember you coming and bringing me money, knocking at my door to bring some money to help some children. They remember that interview. They remember you on before. And they just got to get out and vote for you. So they remember you now. See, well, I'm going to come back and get the people that's helping in the community. Them the ones I need to get them. I need to push them.
Well, one reason we're running for this office is so we can expand that. We need a lot more of that. We need to be in position to help a lot more, and that's one thing we want to do. If we can't help the community, we won't do anything to hurt it.
Okay. Now, can they get a phone number if they want to talk with you and ask you some issues?
Yes, they can. That's Henry Hasib, and my phone number is 251 area code 404-2987. And if I don't answer for some reason, just leave your name and number, and I'll be glad to get back with you.
Okay, all right. You got the phone number. Give Mr. Hasib a call if you got any questions. Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Hasib, for what you've done to help with my show and the people that's on there and what you've given to them, okay?
Well, we appreciate you also, Jazzy.
All right, Jazzy Red, we love you.
Committees were formed to draft petitions aimed at preventing the military's flight program from getting off the ground. Fears were rampant that the introduction of a black flying program would drive down real estate prices and wreak havoc on the town's social structure. After the community put their signatures on the petitions, they were sent to Alabama senators in Washington, D.C. The people of Tuskegee left no doubt as to their feelings about the new black flyers. Despite the protests of the townspeople, the training program moved ahead, and in 1941, the first cadets arrived at Tuskegee's campus.
To me, the campus was beautiful. Well, do you remember when you come out here on a Sunday afternoon and watch the band here in their concert?
Yes, that's right.
Look at the young ladies. And I don't know if any of you were here at commencement time when they held commencement exercise here in the quadrangle. They had the stage down here somewhere.
This is a particularly unique experience because as a military person coming into the service, they normally went to a military camp. Here we came in to get our military training, and we're on a college campus. So we had this unique experience to get our military training here, yet being on this beautiful campus. But I do recall that we drilled on the other side of the dining hall. We had to fall out for formations.
As long as it was confined to the campus, they had complete freedom, totally accepted. It was off campus in the regular community of downtown where they ran into problems, mostly of which were racial.
Remember when we first got here, we were downtown, and this was my first trip in the Deep South.
I was in the South, but I didn't come down here at all, really.
So it's a place to stay away from. Tuskegee Town didn't have a great rep for being friendly to black folks.
I think there was concern about those of us who weren't used to the environment coming here and what we might do or think.
I'm not sure local guys came around here very much.
Well, the reputation was very clear. It was a segregated town. They didn't treat black folks very well. They didn't want us, and as far as I'm concerned, I didn't want to be here.
I used to say that the only reason to come down here was to get the time, because there were 3 buildings with clocks on, and they worked.
You couldn't walk across that sidewalk and be over there and go sit and enjoy the park. That was off limits.
And if you walk on the sidewalk, some people might tell you to get on the curb. Yeah, we encroaching on. When we came in here with our uniforms on after we got our bars, there was some very strange reactions.
I guess this town was one of the places that knew about us and knew we were here. Even though they resented us very, very much. And what a change from the old days.
Well, Tuskegee Airmen made Tuskegee, along with Tuskegee Institute. If some of those old Southerners who kept us out of here came back to life, they would find an entirely different world. And they'd probably join us. They'd probably feel great about what we did because we put them on the map.
For the Tuskegee Airmen, the long road to success began in the classroom. Most were excellent students who had little difficulty with new coursework, but all felt the pressure of being the first to represent their race in the Army Air Corps. Among the first class of airmen was Benjamin O. Davis, a West Point graduate who would become the commander the Tuskegee Airmen.
Captain B.O. Davis was going to be our commanding officer, and the rest of us coming in were unpolished soldiers, raw recruits, and we needed his leadership to get us started in a military career.
Captain Davis, who came here as Commandant of Cadets, brought with him a history that is hard for the average person to even visualize. He was at West Point for 4 years, and during the 4 years that he was at West Point, if you could believe it, he was totally and completely ostracized. Nobody in his class spoke to him, only on official duty. And this was for the purpose, they were trying to break his spirit and trying to get him to withdraw from the academy. But he demonstrated a determination and a tenacity of sticking to it in spite of the difficulties. And he brought that with him to the 99th.
He was quite a bit like his father. He insisted that you do what you were supposed to do. And if you didn't, he didn't want you around. And I think that without General Davis, we might have had a much more difficult time.
Being in charge of military cadets with no experience was a tall order. But Davis's task was complicated by the world of segregation. Early base commanders at Tuskegee made sure all aspects of life were still split along color lines, even as they fought for the right to defend and, if needed, die for their country. The cadets were constantly reminded of their second-class citizenship. The trainees benefited from a change in leadership, though, as Colonel Noah Parrish took charge at Tuskegee.
Colonel Parrish became base commander, and things really turned around because this man from Lexington, Kentucky, had been raised in Georgia and Texas, but he was a very fair, decent American, and he was determined that we would be successful.
Parrish and his initial staff of white instructors brought a sense of fairness to the strict military discipline that ruled the lives of the cadets.
Figures out that something.
This is what you call flying. This is real flying. Where you can feel the wind going through the struts, through your hair. This is what they used to do back in the 1920s and 30s. This is the PT-17 Stearman, which was our primary training plane. This is where most of us took our first ride, did our first solo, and did our first aerobatics. This is a great plane for flying, and it's really what I call flying. From then on, it was big planes and big engines. This way you
were a little more horsepower.
Right, each one a little more horsepower.
A couple hundred more as you moved up the line, but this was the beginning. That was kind of the build-up after pre-flight and all the preparation. Here we are coming out here to get in the airplane. We're going to get in the air. And I'm telling you, that was kind of a build-up with a great relief when you finally climb in the cockpit and say, we're flying.
The time we spent in here went like lightning. We had a 3-month primary training period. You had classes in the morning, academic work, code, navigation. You had physical training early in the morning before the classroom, and then finally you get out to the field, and that's when you really had fun. We were flying, but that time went so fast.
This is the beginning. My first graduation was soloed at 7 hours, and a lot of people had already washed out by the time we got to 7 hours. And I'd done all the things, get up and fly by yourself, and just imagine, take off here by yourself. It was really an experience, and I still think about it.
I'm going to say, yeah, when they first said, you got the airplane, it's yours, you can go up home.
It happened sort of spontaneous. You're taking a ride with your pilot, he said, okay, now it's yours. Oh!
Flight by flight, the cadets proved they had what it took be not just average pilots, but exceptional pilots. The men looked forward to the day when they would show the world what they could do and shatter the myth of the black soldier's inability to fly an aircraft in combat. But learning to fly under the watchful eye of the segregated military took its toll. Despite the best efforts of Parrish and his staff, there were still many in the military that did not wish for the African-American flyers to succeed.
Many of the people who were washed out and failed out were people who, if they'd been white in some other unit, would have been made pilots. So this experience really was a challenging experience.
For the fellows who did not make it, it had to be a very trying experience because we had received so much publicity.
It would be very, very disappointing if you had left your home as a potential hero, everybody expected you to come back with your wings, and if you had to return without that, it would be difficult to live with.
Deep in Alabama, the black cadets continued to train and to strengthen their resolve. The more obstacles the military put in their path of becoming Army Air Corps pilots, the more determined the cadets became. The trainees were introduced to the P-40 Warhawk. After flying Stearman biplanes and single-wing trims, the cadets stepped up to one of the true workhorses of World War II. At the controls of the P-40, the young pilots could sense the war growing closer. On March 6, 1942, the first class of cadets graduated from the flight program at Tuskegee and became United States Army Air Corps pilots. Additional classes of cadets would soon make it to the finish line. By July 1942, enough African Americans had earned their wings to comprise the 99th Fighter Squadron. Because of the military's policy of segregation, a team of black ground service, line maintenance, and support units were activated to aid the newly formed Tuskegee Airmen. 3 new fighter squadrons began training at Tuskegee, hoping to join the 99th overseas. Yet, while the war raged in Europe, the 99th sat home. It would take more than successful training to get black pilots into battle. No American fighting unit wanted the 99th, nor did those of the European powers. Despite the need for pilots in the intense battles overseas, the Tuskegee Airmen were not called to duty. But not everyone was willing to see these new pilots remain at home. After politicking at the highest levels and with continuous support from First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, the War Department initiated orders to send the 99th Fighter Squadron into combat. The Tuskegee Airmen were about to make history. African Americans had proudly served their country since the Revolutionary War and were currently playing important roles in the ground war in Europe. But through the talent and perseverance of the Tuskegee Airmen, African Americans had now become members of the elite branch of the United States military, the Army Air Corps. As the day to Shabbat grew near, it was time to say goodbye to Tuskegee in style. On the eve of their departure, the airmen celebrated their accomplishments. had entered their training at Tuskegee as cadets. They left as a family. Like any family, the 99th had its pains and its joys, its courage and its fear. It had confidence in its ability and anxiety about what lay ahead. But the Tuskegee Airmen had no doubt that America's fight was their fight.
In spite of my status as a second-class citizen, which I knew existed, I loved America as much as any of its first-class citizens. And all of my life, in my family, America was the country that we were to defend if there was the need to do so.
And I think the thing that spurred me on was this matter of race pride. I had a family back in Cleveland, the church people, everybody praying for me, and I was never going to do anything to let down these people who had so much pride in what we were trying to do as the 99.
Heroes of the night, to hell and that's his mind. Fight, 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 fighting 99. Rat-tat, rat-tat-tat, sailing through the blue. We are the men of the 99.
While the Tuskegee Airmen trained in the States, Hitler and the Axis powers had been expanding their control over 3 continents. By the winter of 1942, the Allies were positioning troops to counter German offensives in Western Europe, Russia, and North Africa. On Easter Sunday morning in April of 1943, the Tuskegee Airmen found themselves in North Africa as the USS Mariposa landed at Casablanca. There they received supplies and moved by train to the town of Unja near Fez, where they received their theater orientation and indoctrination. From Fez they moved to Tunis on the north coast, where they were attached to the 33rd Fighter Group for logistical and administrative support. This was certainly not the assignment they had hoped for while training in Alabama.
We thought we were going over and that we were going to be fighter pilots flying at 8,000 feet up and down the coast of North Africa, shoot down 5 German aircraft and be an ace and come home. But we found that we were really going to do close tactical ground support.
The men of the 99 were in a unique position. As an all-black unit, they were completely isolated. There were no battle-hardened combat veterans or experienced military leaders to show them the ropes. Even the all-black ground crew and support staff of the 99 had to find their way alone.
I think it's very important to know that the pilots weren't the only people who made up the 99. We get the majority of the acclaim, but we had around over 200 people in the squadron, and they did all the maintenance work. They did all of everything that is required to keep the squadron operating. And the pilots just came out once a day if they were scheduled, and they flew.
The first missions flown by the Tuskegee Airmen were bombing raids against the Axis-held island of Pantelleria. The airmen joined bomber aircraft pounding away at the German stronghold before the island surrendered unconditionally. While the men of the 99th met little resistance during their bombing runs, they would soon be introduced to live fire in the skies over Sicily. There they entered their first dogfights of the war, tangling with the dangerous German Luftwaffe. The encounter would produce a great joy. Lieutenant Charlie Hall shot down an FW-190, becoming the first African-American to shoot down an enemy plane in aerial combat. But the celebration soon turned to sorrow as the Tuskegee Airmen learned the cruelest lesson of warfare. Second Lieutenants James McCullum of St. Louis and Sherman White of Montgomery failed to return to base. But the tragic loss of life was not the airmen's only cause for concern. Despite their steady work at less than spectacular assignments, military officials who did not want black pilots in the Air Corps began circulating negative reports about the 99th's discipline, courage, and combat effectiveness. Benjamin Davis, now a colonel, was called back to Washington to defend his squadron's combat record. Davis was persuasive, and the 99th was allowed to remain overseas, but the margin for error was now non-existent. What the men needed most was a chance to prove themselves in battle. The 99th would get their opportunity while providing close air support for the Allied troops storming the beachheads at Anzio.
It was a moment of truth type thing. When I took account, I counted at least 24 spots very high over us coming down towards the beachhead. I led the squadron. I think I had 12, 11 pilots at that point. To the attack, there's not going to be any doubt about how aggressive we are.
In the skies over Anzio, the African-American